Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches: Tampa Bay Rays vs Boston Red Sox, Washington Nationals vs New York Mets, Cincinnati Reds vs Atlanta Braves, Milwaukee Brewers vs Chicago Cubs. Game 2, Chicago White Sox vs Minnesota Twins and Colorado Rockies vs Houston Astros, which are happening on Tuesday, August 10, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Tampa Bay Rays vs Boston Red Sox. Rodriguez was expected to show some positive regression as his ERA is nearly 2 runs higher than his FIP mark, 3.38, on the year. Despite that, he's been brutal at Fenway Park, getting lit up repeatedly, including giving up 6 runs on 7 hits with 4 walks and 8 strikeouts over 3.1 innings in a 13-1 loss to the Blue Jays July 29. We've seen the Red Sox struggle over the last couple of weeks, falling from the top spot to 4 games back and just 2.5 games ahead of the charging Yankees. The Rays won the American League pennant last season behind an excellent roster, and this team might be even better than last season's. The pitching staff has been one of the best in the MLB, and the Rays are hoping they can add another arm to the staff in 21-year-old Luis Patino, who in only 7 starts has 39 strikeouts while allowing only 21 runs on the season thus far. Moreover, Patino is only allowing a .218 expected opponent batting average and a 3.80 expected ERA as he allows weak contact when on the mound. My betting advice for that game is to pick Tampa Bay Rays. Washington Nationals vs New York Mets. I want nothing to do with New York right now, especially when it is a heavy favorite. Washington might have shipped most of its talent away, but Soto and Bell are as good as anyone that New York has healthy right now. Carrasco is making just his 3rd start of the season, and there is nothing that makes me believe he will be going deep into this game. Espino had been solid prior to one bad start and will be facing an offense that is really struggling. Paolo Espino gave up 6 runs in 5 innings Wednesday in a loss to the Phillies in his last start. This was the worst showing the youngster had all year. He hadn't allowed more than 3 runs in any of his previous 7 starts. He comes into this home start against the Mets carrying a 3.66 ERA, 1.10 WHIP with 49 strikeouts and 66 innings of work. New York has hit the skids and needs to find a way to turn things around quickly. The Mets have not won consecutive games since July 23 and have lost 7 of their last 8 games. They were swept at Philadelphia over the weekend in a series that turned the tide in the division. Philadelphia now owns a 2-game lead over Atlanta, while the Mets are 2.5 games back of the Phillies. New York is really struggling to put runs on the board right now, and its offense has dropped to number 25 in the MLB with a team batting average of .233. My betting advice for that game is to pick Washington. Cincinnati Reds vs Atlanta Braves. I know Cincinnati has been playing good baseball, but I do not understand why Atlanta is priced as a home underdog. The Braves had the day off on Monday, while Cincinnati had to make a 1-day trip to Cleveland. Teams are not used to these unusual scheduling spots, giving the Braves an advantage from that standpoint. There is not much between these starting pitchers, and Atlanta's offense has been playing well lately. The Reds have been on a roll over the past few weeks and they've won 10 of their last 12 games. They are now 5 games behind Milwaukee in the NL Central standings and will try to reduce the distance with a win over the Braves, which will give them their 11th win in their last 13 games. Atlanta comes into this series, having generated some momentum over the last week. The Braves swept the Cardinals on the road and then took 2 out of 3 against Washington at home over the weekend. They could not quite keep pace with Philadelphia in the NL East, as the Phillies have now won 8 straight games. However, the Braves have surpassed New York and are now in 2nd place in the standings. They are currently 2 games back of Philadelphia. Atlanta's offense ranks number 14 in the MLB with a team batting average of .242. My betting advice for that game is to pick Atlanta. Milwaukee Brewers vs Chicago Cubs, Game 2. Even without a confirmed starter for this game, the Brewers should have the edge here. Milwaukee is fresh off a disappointing showing at home against the Giants, but the Brewers have won 10 of their last 15 games. Milwaukee's lineup has been mired in a bit of a slump as of late, averaging just 3.75 runs over their last 8 contests. While the Brew Crew are led by their pitching and losing their last 2 games, they have given up 14 runs. In their last game before the doubleheader, they lost to the San Francisco Giants 5-4, where Omar Narvaez had a 2-run HR. The team has had COVID-19 issues as of late with several players out, including all-star closer Josh Hader. Adrian Houser recently tested positive, but Christian Yelich recently came off the list and played in the last 2 games. Avisail Garcia leads the club in HR and RBI, and after 3 RBI in 3 games, he did not have any in the 2 games prior to the Tuesday doubleheader. On the season, Milwaukee has the second most road wins in the NL. Chicago will hand the ball to left-hander Justin Steele for his debut as a starter on Tuesday. Moving Steele to the starting rotation will allow the Cubs to evaluate him as a long-term option down the stretch of the regular season and give them a chance to taper innings for some of the team's other arms. In his first taste of major league action, the Cubs southpaw has performed well out of the bullpen, going 2-0 with a 2.03 ERA in 11 relief appearances. Steele has flashed an ability to put away hitters and miss bats at a higher rate. He's generated swinging strikes 13.9% of the time, while fanning 14.18 batters per 9 innings of work. The Cubs rookie bounced around between the starting rotation and the bullpen before being called up from the AAA level. However, he struggled in his last stint as a full-time starter in the minor leagues, posting a 5.59 ERA to go along with an 0-6 record in 11 AA starts back in 2019. My betting advice for that game is to pick Milwaukee Brewers -1.5. Chicago White Sox vs Minnesota Twins. The White Sox enter playing some of their best baseball of the second half of the season, winning 4 in a row and only adding more and more depth and power to the offense. They've dominated the season series against Minnesota, and as Chicago gets healthier and healthier, and Minnesota continues to lose players to injuries and from trades a few weeks ago, it's a tale of 2 teams going in different directions. Keuchel isn't as strong this year as his Houston days, but still has the experience against Minnesota this year, plus the backing one of baseball's most high-powered offenses of the last week to come away with an easy win. Chicago White Sox slugger Eloy Jimenez has played only 9 games this season due to an injury, but displayed his power on Sunday with a pair of home runs, a double and 5 RBIs, making an already strong lineup that much more dangerous to opposing pitchers. The White Sox are 6th in team batting average at .249, 11th in slugging percentage at .415, and have scored the 6th most runs with 554. Jose Abreu has supplied most of Chicago's power with a team-high 21 home runs, and the first baseman is leading the White Sox in RBIs with 83. Tim Anderson has been Chicago's most consistent hitter with 23 doubles to lead the White Sox, 11 home runs and 42 RBIs. My betting advice for that game is to pick White Sox. Colorado Rockies vs Houston Astros. You have to be living on the edge to take the Rockies on the road, especially when they're facing an Astros team with their backs against the wall. They've fallen on hard times in recent outings, and the Oakland Athletics are nipping at their heels for the AL West throne. This is one of those games the Astros need to win. And they'll do it with their offense. They still have the bats that can change the entire complexion of a game when they get rolling. If the game was at Coors Field, the Rockies would magically have the firepower to go blow for blow at the plate. However, the venue will ensure that the offensive Hulk mode for the team stays in check. The Rockies played well over the past week, and they've won 5 of their last 6 games. They will try to keep the momentum going with a win over the Astros, which will give them their 5th win in a row and 6th win in their last 7 games. My betting advice for that game is to pick Houston Astros. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.